Today's edition of Inside Nigeria. Thank God it's Friday, October 11, 2024. My name is Winifred Igwebo, your host on the program. And on this first segment of the show, we like to review front headline stories of some select newspapers, including Nigeria's most influential leadership. Leadership's leading story today says both mishaps kill 1,429 in 4 years. Both mishaps kill 1,429 in 4 years. Leading story today on Leadership Friday, Nigeria's foremost Friday newspaper. And the writer says stakeholders express concern, call for stringent measures. Community leaders tax on awareness support. Kwara governor announces 100 million naira support for Kayama victims. I'll take that leading story again. Leadership Friday leading story. Both mishaps kill 1,429 in 4 years. Stakeholders express concern, call for stringent measures. Community leaders tax on awareness support. Kwara governor announces 100 million naira support for Kayama victims. Of course, we have illustration beneath that leading story on Leadership Friday. We have North with highest casualties. War craft maintenance, night voyages, archaic craft behind incidents. Experts. We have 396 casualties in 2024. And from Lagos, we have 21, Adamawa 28, Niger 199. Kwara 100, Delta 5, Zamfara 40, and Kano 3. All casualties in 2024, both mishaps. Beneath that leading story on Leadership Friday, pension assets hit 21 trillion naira in August. Pension assets hit 21 trillion naira in August. Police rescue 6 kidnapped sports journalists in Anambra. The story runs on page 31 of Leadership Friday. Rivers crisis. Appeal court accuses Fubara of executive recklessness. And beside the masthead of Leadership Friday, federal government to integrate mental health care into primary health care system. The story is on page 6 of Leadership. More reactions train new petrol pump price. Again, court stops Emir Bayero from renovating palace. And from that leading stories on the cover of Leadership Friday, we move to the page 3 where we have our stand. Today's stand is on rehabilitating Borno flood victims. Rehabilitating Borno flood victims. Like the stand says, that it's almost a month since devastating flood swept through Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, leaving in its wake a trail of unprecedented destruction and death. From our stand, we move over to the back page where we have conversation with Azu. Azu Isiekwenene is the editor-in-chief of Leadership Media Group, and today he's writing on how Africa is paying for pursuit of the last Hamas. In quotes, the war may not yet be on Africa's doorstep, but the continent has not been an onlooker. A snippet quote from that back page, how Africa is paying for pursuit of the last Hamas. And with that, we conclude review of Leadership Friday, this Friday, October 11, 2024. For more, log on to the website www.leadership.ng. From Leadership, we move over to the next paper, that is Vanguard. Vanguard is still on the increase in the fuel pump price in the country, and it says petrol price hike. Nachima, PDP, Atiku, CSOs, others insist on reversal. Petrol price hike. Nachima, PDP, Atiku, CSOs, that is civil society organizations, others insist on reversal. Hike will worsen plight of businesses, households. Nachima. PDP demands reversal of anti-people policies. Tinubu undisturbed by hardship in Nigeria. Atiku. JAV asks Labour to provide leadership for resistance. NNPP begs Tinubu to reverse hike. Senate to intervene if Akpabio. NNPC has no powers to increase fuel price. Falana. Dangote economical with truth over retail price. Petruan. TUC urges federal government to create special forest scheme for Dangote. Leading story, riders beneath that leading story on petrol price hike. Beneath that, we have Save Judiciary from Collapse needs total overhauling, Clark writes CJN. Save Judiciary from Collapse needs total overhauling, Clark writes CJN. That's the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Underneath that, death penalty, 3,650 inmates on death row nationwide, ASF. Death penalty, 3,650 inmates on death row nationwide. Rivers Assembly crisis, appeal court affirms Amewule as speaker. And in sports, AFCON 2025, don't undermine Libya, Eno wants Super Eagles. That takes us to the stories about the masthead of Vanguard. NIN same linkage of all phones numbers completed, NCC. My husband not cause of current hardship, Remi Tinubu. Dinner allocations to local government where selections were done, senators, federal government. Deny allocations to local governments where selections were done, senators, federal government. And because it was reported that selections were actually the order of the day, not election in local government councils. Kidnap, police rescue six sports journalists. The story is on page 30 of Vanguard newspaper. For more, log on to the website of Vanguard as we head up to the next paper with similar story on recent petrol price hike, and that is the Punch. Punch says petrol price hike. IPMA tackles NNPCL, threatens to stop operations. Marketers accuse NNPCL of inflating Dangote petrol price. MEMA continues loading subsidized PMS at refinery. We'll take that again. Petrol price hike. IPMA tackles NNPCL, threatens to stop operations. Marketers accuse NNPCL of inflating Dangote petrol price. MEMA continues loading subsidized PMS at refinery. And beneath that, we have hurricane throws 3 million Florida residents into blackout. Because you can see the pictures, some cars submerged in that hurricane. Data voice services fetch MTN Airtel 3.6 trillion naira. Driver jailed 15 years for killing Kano traffic officer. Why military hasn't gone after Asari Dokubo, defense headquarters. Beside the masthead of the Punch, Oyedepo's two deputies step down next week. NULGE threatens suit over government's bid to control local government funds. 7 banks paid 392 billion naira tax, report. Fubara heads to Supreme Court as appeal court affirms pro-Wike lawmakers. That concludes review of front headline stories today on The Punch. For more, log on to the website of The Punch newspaper. As we move to the next paper, Daily Sun. Daily Sun says Wike's men floor Fubara. Main headline story today on Daily Sun. Appeal Court affirms judgment in Refined Rivers 2024 budget, describes fractional lawmakers' action illegal. Rivers government says court didn't reinstate defected lawmakers. The story runs on page 6 and 7 of Daily Sun. Above that, we have anxiety as health workers threaten showdown. Anxiety as health workers threaten showdown. The story continues on page 6, although it starts on the cover page. Anxiety as health workers threaten showdown. The Joint Health Sector Unions, JOHESU, and Assembly of Healthcare Professional Associations, AHPA, have issued a 15-day ultimatum to the federal government to address their demands or risk another nationwide strike on October 25, 2024. Just beside the masthead, federal government lacks knowledge to fix economy. Article says no end in sight to hardship. The story is on page 6 of Daily Sun. And just beneath the picture on the cover of Daily Sun, we have NNPCL, few marketers fight over 15 billion naira debt. No soldier civilian was attacked, killed in Lagos, Imo Army. Nigerian Airlines in dire financial crisis, NCAA. Abbas vacates seat for 16-year-old shadow speaker as reps celebrate girl child. And that concludes review of front headline stories today on Daily Sun. For more, log on to the website of Daily Sun as we move to the last paper on our menu, and that is The Guardian. The Guardian's main headline story says where anti-graft ego turns a blind eye to sacred cows. That is war against corruption. That's the big story today on the Guardian newspaper. War against corruption, where anti-graft ego turns a blind eye to sacred cows. Of course, you can have the illustration there with the eagle with a big armor of big armor EFCC being torn apart as the eagle, as one of the eagles fly out of the net of EFCC. Funny one. Beneath that, we have my husband not greedy, working for better future, coming from First Lady Remi Tinubu. Article CUPP TUC orders knock Tinubu over handling of fuel subsidy. Shettima Kalu Abiodun decry rising population of uneducated kids, urge action. Don't dare military, defense headquarters warns Asari Dokubo. Reps kick against multiple tax burdens on Nigerians. And that concludes review of front headline stories on The Guardian. For more, log on to the website of The Guardian newspaper, www.guardian.ng. Well, viewers, this is where we also draw the curtain on the first half of today's Inside Nigeria, your breakfast show. Don't go away. Second segment of the program is coming in shortly with our guest in the studio. Stay tuned. Welcome back. In case you're just joining us, the program is Inside Nigeria, your breakfast show on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Igbobo, your host on the program. And as you can see, I have my Friday guest in the studio. He's a public affairs analyst, LATEEF. Thank you so much. Welcome to the program. It's a pleasure to have you on the program. Now we are talking about the developing story, talking about the petrol price hike, which has obviously not gone down well with last Nigerians, all Nigerians across the spectrum, with the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar calling for a reversal, followed by Ipman, Labour, and even Amechi, former governor of Rivers State and Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, also calling for a protest against the petrol price hike. What is your take?
Well, first, I do believe that it is not necessarily until when we protest and before we can resolve issues that concern Nigerians and Nigeria. And at the same time, I don't see some personalities as advocates of the masses. The people like Atiku Abubakar championing such a cause, because these were people who are in government and there's not really much to show that they really serve this country and the people of this country. It's unfortunate that we find ourselves where we are today. And I think for us to get things right, we should, combine efforts and move this country forward. Now, concerning this fuel crisis, which is affecting everybody in the country, the government should, alongside with the people of this country, find a lasting solution instead of playing lip service to this matter. We should address it once and for all so that succor can come on the side of the people of this country. It's unfortunate that we have crude in this country. We have refineries that are supposed to be functioning but are not functioning. So, and fortunately again, we have a refinery which is owned by Nigeria, and I think we should rally around and solve this problem once and for all instead of battling the issue, instead of not being patriotic about this matter. The Ip Man, yes, they are part of all that's been going on from time. Uh, Nigerians have been taken advantage of. That one, there's no doubt about that. That people just, we knew how previous administrations, I don't want to be specific about any particular one, how previous administrations had always raised alarm about the fuel coming to the country. How they got
Refined fuel.
yes, coming to the country,
Importing.
yeah, importing and being lied about all kind of insinuations about the truth concerning the fuel import and the amount of fuel we use in this country. So it gives a lot of headache when you look at all this, and the Ip Man, the people that were in government before are crying foul because they were all part of all these three issues. But that notwithstanding, we need to have a lasting solution to this matter. It needs to be addressed because Nigerians are really facing a difficult time.
Yes, if you recall, Latif, I have to take you back a little while. When Dangote, of course, when the issue was resolved between NNPCL and Dangote, and the NNPCL said we are going to be the sole distributor of Dangote fuel, refined fuel, and that Dangote was going to be selling at 895 or thereabout.
Thereabout.
And now NNPC is coming to say that okay, they have removed their rule. They are no longer playing the optical rule. Anybody can buy, and now they are going to be selling for 1,030 naira. What happened? So does that mean that NNPC between 895 or 897 that Dangote is selling the fuel price, they are adding to it? They are going to also benefit from Nigerians, exploiting Nigerians?
And that's one angle.
Because it's not NNPC's rule has not been transparent.
And that's an angle I find difficult to really understand. If truly they are buying from Dangote
Dangote.
at that amount,
Yes,
why,
897.
yes, why the gap?
Yes.
Are they to extort Nigerians? You understand? Or is it that they are not truly buying from Dangote, they are still importing from? So that's the angle where the federal government of Nigeria really needs to look into and address it, so that this Nigerians are going through. They are really. It's not been easy, going through all this. If we have to buy at 1,100 naira, 1,200 in some places, 1,400 naira in some places, so it doesn't really speak well, and I think they really need to. And the issue of NNPC removing, how did they come about partnering with Dangote in the first place? They wanted to be, buying directly from Dangote. What reasons did they have? And if they had genuine reasons, why are they opting out? We need to ask, why are they opting out? Are they doing that in their own selfish interest or in the best interest of Nigerians? So we need to ask all these questions, and if truly they are doing this in the best interest of Nigerians, well, they need to explain to us so that we understand, okay, this is the reason why these people are doing this. So you remember something, and it's been coming to my mind that this could be the same scenario. You know how Nitel was killed? Is this same thing playing out with NNPC? You understand? It's the same thing. Nitel, when the Obasanjo administration came with the GSM, and Nitel own was not really coming up. We had some of these service providers coming up with so much. I mean, their service was so exorbitant, you know. But at a point in time, they were able to stabilize this. Is the same thing happening now? Can we liken what happened then to what is happening now?
happening now.
I don't just understand.
No, but I want to find out just before we move on away from this petrol price hike issue. What is the way forward? Because obviously, this is much more than Nigerians can take to buy 1 liter of pump price
At that
for
amount.
1,000. That is just from NNPC, while other marketers are selling as high as 1,002, 1,003, even one as high as 1,004. So, what is the way forward? And what are the implications? What is the implication for the economy?
I think now that the president is not in the country, maybe he has another. Maybe when he comes back, maybe he's really going to address this matter. But the implication on the economy, as we all know, is that it's really biting hard. The hardship is much. Nigerians are suffering. But then, my belief, I've always said it, that where we find ourselves today is not actually something that just got to this point. I mean, we just find ourselves just like that. It's been something that accumulated over the time. If we are put in place proper, we are being organized as we're supposed to have been, we have been doing things properly. The issue of probably our refineries not working, or the new people that have just come in to do this business, will be coming up with this kind of much amount of money. Maybe the naira to dollar exchange wouldn't have been this much. Maybe we would have been producing a lot of things in our country. But all these things are not there, and that's to an extent, not to a great extent, that affected the naira the dollar exchange, which is somehow affecting the fuel price presently. So if we have been doing things, which I want to implore Nigeria now, that as much as we have this situation, really we're battling with, we should endeavor to also try to adjust our way and do things the way we're supposed to, so that in future, as we are facing this, we will not face another challenge. So we need to address this. Going by your question, as regards how it's affecting the economy, it's really affecting the economy. It's not easy for Nigeria.
It's not easy for Nigerians at all. And article in the words of former vice president of the country, he says, no end in sight to hardship. And that is the present situation. Now we'll move away from petrol price hike and focus on Leadership Friday's main headline story today. And it says both mishaps kill 1,429 in 4 years. And just recently we read about the report of many that were boats that were killed in that Niger State boat mishap. What can be done? Because for 4 years now, 1,429 has actually died, and in just this year alone, Leadership Friday has illustrated it. Lagos has 21 casualties, Adamawa 28, Niger 199, Kwara 100, Delta 5, Zamfara 40, Kano has 3. What is the role of NIWA in all this? People just enter boats without
Yes,
life jackets and safety
other
in place. They
precautions.
cramp themselves and other precautions. And
Nigerians, we are fond of, only when we have issues like this, that we cry out,
yes,
and it doesn't make any more sense. This could have been prevented.
yes.
Where do they have the measures, protective measures? Where did they put all this? Especially life jacket. We saw that of Niger State, the one that happened recently.
Yes.
Where they had about I think about 200 or 400 people
In a boat.
who are regulating the activities of this
Supposed to be NIWA.
in NIWA. So you just have to rise up to the
Yeah,
occasion
you know
and
what I was
and do the right thing. You see people go by boat, and they don't put on life jackets. So why do you have to do that? So we need to pay more attention to what do you call it, the transportation, water transportation. We are not paying so much attention to it. We are not really doing what we're supposed to do in that regards. So until we pay the needful attention, we'll continue to face it this way. And that is one thing about Nigeria. we don't do the right thing.
We don't do
We
right thing.
don't we
Not
don't
at
do the
all.
right thing until when issues arise like this. That is when we see people crying, taking action. It's always medicine
That date.
after death. So we should try and do something about taking the right action at the right time.
Thank you so much. Now we're moving ahead. You've heard of course, in the country with the October deadline for conduct of a local government election by the Supreme Court. We've seen some states conducting, state government conducting, will I call it shambolic election
Elections.
into local government councils. What are your views? And the Senate has already told federal government in one of the cover stories today on Vanguard newspaper deny allocations to local governments where selections were done. Senators, federal government, and we saw that this has not helped despite Supreme Court ruling for although states are still conducting the election, their local government election. We've seen that even the state government in place, they still win majority, all the seats, not majority of the seats.
If you look at governance, I will still the same thing I said about the fuel, and I said about the issues with the water transportation. The same thing is affecting the local government. I don't understand why we as Nigerians cannot do what is right. Now we talk about leadership most of the time that we have issues. We only look at the national, and whatever that comes to the national has takes is I mean is an offshoot of the grassroots,
Yes.
but people do not pay attention to it. Local government administration to me is the worst thing that has ever happened to this country, because we have always failed to get it right at that
Local
level,
government level.
and our failure at that level implies total failure at all other levels. Because it is those that emerge at the grassroots that rise to maybe the state, that intermediary, and the national level. So now look at local government elections. Elections so far across the country, it's been I don't know how best to describe it. You found out that the state governor dictates it all.
Yes, it's still the same thing.
Yes,
We even saw a situation whereby
they-
some viral videos where you saw some thumb printing of
Exactly.
officials, and the policeman there was supposed to tell them, well done, oh, now well done.
I say yes.
You saw it.
I
And
saw
I mean,
it.
it's bizarre. And one of the states that you have a reverend father in place.
And you know something happened like the Akwa Ibom State.
The same thing with
They deliberately left a local government.
yes,
for the now
for
the-
that you should just let it go like
Let
that.
it
You know,
go
just
for
let
the-
because of the Senate
Senate
president.
president.
It's
Now the question now is that, are they telling us that truly the people of that local government
yeah.
want an APC local government chairman?
just for the Senate
For
president
the
to save
Senate
face.
president. So which we can say categorically that even the remaining ones that went for the PDP weren't actually
Yes.
the kind of leadership they wanted there. So look at what happened in Kwara State, for example. The same thing, all the states of the
In all the
federation,
states of the
and
federation.
we cannot never get it right, except we do what is right. And
However, many people like the AGM, I think the case is already in Supreme Court, suing for conduct of local government election by INEC, no longer states. States presently as it were, they are still the ones conducting elections into local government councils. Perhaps if INEC is in charge, that would change the balance a little.
I think that we to an extent change
Yes.
the song and the music, so it could there will be an improvement. And like the INEC itself, this one is not the INEC. The INEC that we conduct local government chairman, I mean, it's another
No, that is
election,
for
it's
states.
yeah, the INEC, I mean the electoral body, there's an electoral body again now before the National Assembly that will be conducting local government elections.
Yes,
Now, when they start, I want to believe that they will not also to but I
Yes.
believe it's going to be there's going to be an improvement in that wise. The state different state electoral bodies have failed woefully. They have failed woefully, and it is affecting the Nigerian as a country, and it's affecting our psyche as people of this country. So if we're able to achieve what is being and is already going on at the National Assembly, and we have an electoral body that will be conducting proper election at the local government level, there will be an improvement. Then people will have sense of belonging. People will choose the kind of I'm a witness to how elections have been conducted in several local governments across this country. It's your heart bleeds when you find out that the person that people actually wanted to be their chairman or councillor is not the one that is, that gets to power. Then you be angry, and that is why the crisis, the whatever you have in the country today, is because of animosities, you know, people have against those that lead them. If things go right at the local government level, you have a chairman that you believe in and believes in your cause. Definitely, you have an administration that will run smoothly and people will enjoy it. But when you are against your leadership and the leader too works against you, what becomes of that society? There comes chaos.
Oh, I thank you so much. We're moving ahead, and we stop at or we bet at the Guardian newspaper. Today's big story on the Guardian says war against corruption, where anti-graft ego turns a blind eye to sacred cows. And the illustration, you actually have the ego this time around with his net, EFCC, where an eagle bird is flying through the net. What is actually happening? Because these agencies, anti-graft agencies, have not been able to engender confidence in Nigerians this on its ability to actually fight corruption. Because ICPC said in September alone they were able to retrieve about how many billions, some humongous amount of money from civil servants who diverted, yes,
ICPs.
who diverted these funds. That is to tell you that corruption is still thriving despite these anti-graft agencies in place.
When we address issues like this, we need to be fair to ourselves. And being fair to ourselves is to believe that we as Nigerians, we are not that good in doing what is right.
Yes,
We
I agree with
we are
you.
not we are
I
not
agree
all
with
of
you.
us are not doing
We are not.
the right thing. Now, if you are blaming EFCC, who are those in EFCC?
They are still
They are
Nigerians.
Nigerians.
They are you and I.
The governor of a state, for example, that had everything from Nigeria, the constitution of Nigeria backed him up to spend his term or as governor of the state, but now doesn't want to listen to that. Doesn't obey that constitution again, and you begin to ask yourself, why is it that people enjoy from a certain section of the constitution and want to go against that same constitution at other time? And it also goes beyond that, because there are just quite a number of things that are battling Nigeria, this country. There are just so much, and particularly our psyche is part of is one of the the main thing. So we have to change a lot of things. Our thinking is just too bad. We want to get things we want to be served the right thing, but we don't want to do the right thing. We want to get the right thing. We are not ready to do the right thing. The ICPC, the FCC, they are all they are all trying their own little best in their own way, because without all these anti-grafting graft agencies, things that would have gone too bad. At least to an extent, they are still trying, and it's now on Nigerians. It is incumbent on all of us to do the need, to do what is right, so that they go to other countries. It is not that they are not people in those countries. There are people there too, but they obey the constitution of their land, and that is why things tend to go right over there. Do our leaders not go to America?
Yes,
Do they
they
not go
see
to other
how
places?
things work.
Do they not obey the laws there?
They do.
Did they not do what is right? Did they not carry their bags by themselves? Did they not enter public transport? So when you look at all this, we need to ask ourselves, what is really wrong with us? Must we blame the institution and what about the people that operate the institutions? We need to ask ourselves, what's really our problem?
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on the program. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I look forward to having you same time on the station. Well, viewers, this is where we draw the curtain on today's Friday's edition of Inside Nigeria, your breakfast on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Weber. Of course, I've had the pleasure of having in the studio with me today, this morning, our guest analyst, LATEEF. Thank you,
OLAWUMI.
OLAWUMI. Thank you so much once again.
Thank
So,
you so
viewers,
much for
until we
having me.
come your way again for another fresh edition of the program, please wish you a beautiful weekend ahead.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 0803688 Studio. You